Hi everyone, this is yours truly, Lady Emmanuel, coming back with part 3 of modeling with a quadratic function. As you notice, I did number 11 on part 2. Guys, make sure you listen to the words that is being spoken to you and just take your time to try to understand and practice problem. Like when I did number 11, you should come and do number 16. Go ahead and complete the table and use the data points to graph the function like I did here, using that information. It may not be quadratic. Now, that's one thing you need to determine if it's quadratic or not. In number 15 is to create a table, graph this linear function and this quadratic function, and it says explain the difference between the graphs. What do you notice? Matter of fact, what do you notice about the tables as well? So make sure you pay close attention to what you're reading and what you're doing. Here on number 12, it says Barry needs to find the area. You see, that's something stood out here. It said find the area of a rectangular room. Rectangular. So right there, you should know, the area of a rectangle. So number 12 is referring to the area of a rectangle, which is length times width, or base times height. Okay, and it tells you, it says that the width here, it said the width that is 2 feet longer than the length. So now you know that the width is 2 feet longer than the length. Do you know what the length is? You probably said no. Draw your picture if you need assistance with that. Draw a picture. Say, okay, I have a rectangle. I have a length. Or you could say width. I'm going to put width for you there. Okay. You have a width, but you know that you have a length. The only thing that they gave you, they said the width that is 2 feet longer than the length. So the only thing you know that the width here is 2 feet longer than the length. So I know that my width is going to be the length plus 2 feet, because it's 2 feet longer than the length. So if my length is 6, then I know my width is 8. If my length is 9, then I know my width is 11. If my length is 0, can I have a length of 0? Exactly, that doesn't make sense. Can I have a negative length or width? No. So you know if you get into negative, something is not correct, okay? So now I know that my width here is the length plus 2. So now I gather my information. It's told me here, it says, write an expression for the area of the rectangle in terms of the length. In terms of the length, they wanted you to use L, just like we set up here. We know the width is L plus 2, and we just know the length is length. So what do? You have to substitute this into the formula. I'm not going to go all the way through this process because I want you to finish it, okay? So you need to finish it. So your job is to say the area equals and finish the expression and make sure it's simplified and it's in standard form. Okay? It needs to be in standard form. 13 says critique the reasoning of others. Read, Sally states that the equation g of x equals x to the third plus 10x to the second minus 3x represent a quadratic function. So you need to ask yourself, what is a quadratic function? What do I know about a quadratic function? How do I determine if this is a quadratic function? How does the equation of a quadratic function looks? Okay. What are the characteristics? Then use that information to explain why Sally is incorrect. Or some of you may say, well, no, she is correct. You use the definition and characteristic of quadratic function to support your thoughts. Okay? And make sure you use complete sentences. Okay. Number 14 says write the quadratic function f of x equals 3 minus x squared in standard form. So what are you going to do first before you write in standard form? Shouldn't you write in standard form? What is 3 minus x squared? What is it in standard form? Not standard form, but my fault. What is it in expanded form? Expanded form, you will have 3 minus x times 3 minus x, because the base is 3 minus x, the exponent is 2, so you write it twice. Now multiply the two binomials. And when you're done, write it in standard form. Remember standard form? look up the definition. You was waiting on me to tell you, or look at one of my other videos, or look in your notes. Okay? Yes, you are responsible to read this and complete the process. Okay? It's very clear what you need to do. You just have to read it and annotate as necessary. Be sure on number 18 that you use number 16 and 17 to tell what types of functions are represented in these items. Okay? Here, 19 is to write each quadratic function in standard form. It's telling you these are standard quadratics. It didn't even ask you. It said, hey, these are quadratic functions. Write it in standard form. This, you need to simplify it first. Get rid of the parenthesis, meaning use the distributive property. X times x times -2. And combine like terms, write the quadratic function in standard form. Okay? And remember, standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? That's standard form for quadratics. 20 is to determine whether each function is a quadratic function. Justify your response. You make sure you use the definition of quadratic function to support your response. Okay? And guys, pi is a number. It's not a variable. Pi is a number. Okay? 3.14 on. Just remember that. So make sure you justify your response. You're going to say, yes, it's a quadratic function because, and then state the reason. Okay? Then if you believe it's not a quadratic function, say, no, it is not a quadratic function because blah, blah, blah. Not blah, 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 but state your response. Guys, I appreciate it. Take your time. Do it correctly. Study, study, study at home so when you come to school, you'll be ready to go to the next level. Appreciate you. Peace out. Yours truly, Lady E.